evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. I hope you're all keeping well on this fine Thursday evening. It's all dark, getting a bit chilly here in Donegal. No rain yet, it's been dry all day. I hope everyone's keeping well. You all got a lot of modeling done over the Christmas New Year break, I hope. You can see on the side videos there, I've got my 6x4 layout here. Oh, let's turn that down. So I got some of my Irish stuff running around there. Just on the side note, doing some work on the main layout tonight. I'm doing soldering some sleepers in place so I can make the cuts in the rails to separate it and do all the wiring. So let's have a look through the chat, see who's in. Oh, chat's disappeared as always. So first off the mark, we had Jake. Haunted Halloween Railway. How you doing, Jake? Joshua W56 Gaming's in the house. Soder Dan the man. Good evening, Dan. How are you doing? Martin O'Keefe. Good evening. Hope you're keeping well. Top Mod Flymo Chairman 1 is in the house. Good evening, Flymo. How are you doing? Tom Houston Model Railway. How's things with you, Tom? Craig New Durham Junction. Leslie Gilpin Railways. How are you guys doing? Who else we got? Oh, Anthony Dodge is in the house. Hi, Anthony. How are you? Alan White as well. Good evening, Alan. Hot Dog Pilot Andy. Good to have you, Andy. President XD Locomotive Shed. How are you doing? Jerry BBR. Good evening, sir. I think, is that me up to date? And any lurkers there in the background? Oh, Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase is in. Good evening. Brian Madden's here as well. Brian, how are you doing, Brian? You feeling better? He's a bit under the weather at the moment, Brian. There's been a nasty bug going around over here. I don't know what it's like with you guys where you are. Brian, Lemington Station Model Railway. Evening, Brian. How you doing? Clive, Newland Railway. Good evening, sir. Who else? Anyone else popped in? John O'Donoghue. Good evening, John. How you doing? So hope that's everyone. I'll say hello to all the lurkers. If you're new here, hit the subscribe. Don't forget the like button. All that good YouTube stuff. So, for any of you that are new here, I'll do a little tour of the 6x4 layout in a moment. Show you that's first videos I started doing was building that. So that was built during lockdown, which is back in, well, we all know when that was, 2020. So I'm just going to move this over now so you can see what we're doing. So this is the opportunity for you guys to watch me burn my fingers, try not to swear live on air, that sort of thing. So I am using the DCC Concepts sleepers, which are these boys here. So you can see they've got two little solder pads for soldering the rails on. So I've already gone around and put them in. They're not quite as thick as a normal sleeper, so there's a few shims underneath them just to make them fit better. What I'm going to do afterwards when they're all done is I'm going to go around, drill a hole through them, hold them in place with a pin, and then I'm just going to put some glue around it as well, just so everything is held nice and secure. So if you got any questions or comments, put them in the chat. I'll try and have the phone over here so I can sort of keep an eye on the chat while I'm burning my fingers. Oh, stay TrainWorld, Simon. How are you doing? Good evening, sir. Hope you're keeping well. Not saying hi to Flymo again, so. Yeah, Flymo must be busy playing with his train set. That's not a euphemism. Hi, Kieran, J94. Good evening. How you doing? Oh, RGJ trains are in. Grace and Rob, how are you doing? Good to see you here. So this is what I was doing, Grace, while I was watching your live the other night, as I was soldering these, putting them in place. So I've some of them soldered already. In fact, if I just move the laptop and swing the camera around, you can see where I've put these in and soldered them in place already. So I've been just using little bits of plastic shims, tops of Rose's tub and other bits and pieces, whatever bits of plastic I could find to cut up. The tone lowerers are here. Yes. Unfortunately, there's no mountains here. Maybe I could get a skin-colored hoodie, though. What do people think on that? Raymond Legs, good evening, sir. How are you keeping? Right, let's, first things first is I will plug in the soldering iron, let that start warming up. Get all my bits and pieces ready. A little bit extra light on it. I don't know if I need any ammunition, Grace. I presume it's Grace. Could be Rob. So first off, I'm going to put a little bit of flux just where I'm going to solder. That just helps the solder run into place. You know, some people go, oh, you don't need flux if you know how to solder, which is true, but you know, if it makes life easier. So I'm using the old tin lead solder. Oh, it's both of you on tonight, is it? Okay. Well, hi, Rob. Hi, Grace. I hope that shoulder's getting better, Rob. I know you're having a bit of trouble with it. It's DCC, Brian, yeah. Oh, hi's in the house. H&H Express Motor and Skill Trains. Good evening, hi. Hope you're keeping well, sir. Oh, you're feeling a bit crappier, Grace. Let's see if this soldering iron's warmed up. Doing a bit of soldering earlier on, waiting for it to warm up. Just wasn't seeming to be worn up, and then I noticed that I didn't plug the extension lead in. I'm using my think it's an 80-watt iron I'm using. Which is a bit, no, it's a 60-watt. Normally I have a 30-watt, but I want to get the rails nice and hot and get the solder to try and run underneath it. Well, there's probably a lot more people on here who is more expert on soldering than I am. If you want to send some tips my way. I can move that camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. This is one of those jobs where it's very hard to get the camera at the right angle so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, Ewan the Groiler's in. Good evening, Ewan. How are you doing? Amberley Motor Railway. Good evening, sir. Route 7 Railway's popped in as well. Yeah, it is Flexi Track, Raymond. Sorry, I'm just going back through the chat there while I'm waiting for the soldering iron to warm up. We should have enough temperature in there, so I'm just going to heat the rail, let the solder melt. Now, this worked with no problem when I was doing it the other day without the camera being on. We can guarantee now. You can see that solder just doesn't want to. See, it's easier doing it this side, so I can see what I'm doing without trying to reach around the other side. Oh, it's Marvin. I didn't see. Hi, Mav, if you're. Chisel tip would get better. Yeah, if only I had one. I'm pretty sure I actually do have a chisel chip. I did have a chisel chip soldering iron somewhere. Yeah, sometimes I do this and it seems to work wonderfully, and other times I do exactly the same thing and it's like... The test of my soldering will be when I take the baseboards apart, try and put them back together again. Right, there's that. Those 4 done. Now move everything over to the other side. It's lead solder I'm using, so I'm breathing in some lovely fumes. Normally what I do when I'm working with lead solder is I'd have a fan going to blow the fumes away from my face. Oh, Carl's in the house. Hi, Carl. How you doing? Yeah, I tried doing that, Clive, but it won't. The tip won't tin for some reason. Like I do that with my other ones with the finer tips, and they tin no problem. But that's quite a blunt tip, and it just doesn't seem to want to do it. I've tried cleaning it, and it just doesn't want to. Yeah, Alan, that's how I've done it before with brass screws. But these, pick them up, and I've seen somebody else using them. I thought, well, that's a good idea, because I have used like circuit board before. Get a tip thinner refresher. Ah, yes, that's something to. How much are them sleepers? I think it was about 15 quid for 100, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was about 15. They're on DCC Concepts, but I think I actually got them somewhere else because they were cheaper than buying them from Concepts directly. Yeah, as John says, it's because the camera's on you. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Steve, Route 7 is he in as well? Hi, Steve. How you doing? All these people popping in tonight. What livery are the locals are running? They are Irish livery. So that's probably why you've never seen them before. One is a Murphy's Models, and the other one is by Irish Railway Models, which is basically a Cura scale. The one that's just coming past the camera now, that's the Class 121. And the one that's just going around by itself, that's the A class. So they stopped running on Irish Rail. Well, the A class is a good while ago. The 121 is probably early 2000s, I think, was the last time it ran. Carl might know, he's in the chat. He would be a bit more up to date on that. I'm just going to switch over mics a minute, guys, because one's gone red. So I'll switch it over before it dies completely. All right, you still hear me? Thank you, guys. Yeah, the A-Class is a lovely model. It's a Curascale. It's all the lighting functions on it, all the sound functions on it. It's got Stay Alive. Runs really, really well. Although I had some bother because this layout is running using my Hornby Select, which is a basic Hornby DCC controller. And it seems to cut out too easily. Because I was running the carriages that I've got lights in, and I checked with my other controller, and they run no problem there, but if I put them on there, it shorts out. So that's why the A-Class is going around by itself. Because even normal carriages without the lighting, just with metal wheels, were causing short outs on some of the crossovers. And I didn't have enough time to try and sort it out today. Hi, Christopher. How are you doing, sir? Keeping well? Yeah, there we are. The A-Class was 1989 and the 121 was 2000. Anyway, let's move the camera over to do the next. Oh, hang on, let me just move my mic up so I'm not banging it off the baseboard, deafening you with loud thuds. Again, on with a little bit of flux. What I do after I finish soldering is I just go around with a earbud and a little bit of alcohol and just swipe off so you don't get that horrible green thing coming on from the flux. I'm gonna have to try and work. All right, so this isn't gonna work. I'm gonna have to move the tripod again so shaky camera work again. Still see okay? Soldering iron's got a lot hotter, so it seems to be working a little bit better now. I've ordered some connectors to do the wiring, so hopefully they'll be here next week. I got more done on this layout because I actually lifted the track and the points and everything and relayed it during the week. I was supposed to be going to Bristol this week, supposed to be flying out New Year's Eve. I was looking forward to taking a trip across the bridge to go to Lord and Butler. But unfortunately, our eldest lad had a bad flu, and the young lad wasn't too good either. So the missus carried on over to Bristol to see her parents with the girls. And I stayed behind looking after the lads, which meant I had New Year's Eve here, working on the layout here while Alan, what's his channel? Buckland Railway. Is it Buckland Railway? He was doing a stream right through midnight. So that's how I spent my New Year's Eve. It's one of the best New Year's Eve I've had. Kids are all in bed. I was doing some of this, lifting track, relaying it. Oh, what's up with High? Yeah, Buckland Junction, that was it, Flymo. Mark's not a proper Irishman if he's wasting alcohol to clean track and flux. Yeah, there's a nasty dose going around over here. So Cody is not with us anymore. Oh, sorry to hear that. Hi. So before I move on, I'll give them a clean. That's a bit high, that one. Let me just come back in with the soldering iron just to melt that down a wee bit. Watch this catch fire now. I think the Scots and the Irish are just as bad, Flymo, for alcohol. Oh, Lee's in the house. Handville Road layout in the loft. How you doing, Lee? Yeah, it's there isn't a lot of nasty doses going around, and it seems particularly bad. It seems to actually lay you up for quite a while. It's not just a couple of days and you're over it. I mean, the young lad, although he's stopped coughing and everything now and had to have a dose of antibiotics and everything, he's going on 3 weeks now because he ended up missing the last week of school. Sorry, I should warn you, I'm moving the camera just so you don't get too dizzy. What's this concept? A small amount of alcohol. Those PL10 motors, I've stopped using them. Is that the normal solenoid ones? I just never found them very good. Yeah, there's a few loose sleepers around this layout. Yeah, the track will be cut between the solder sections. Hi, that's the whole idea. Is these, once I've soldered them in, and then I'm going to pin the sleepers in place and put a load of glue around them to hold them in place. Then I'll cut and take the boards up and do all the wiring underneath. And then hopefully they'll all fit back together and line up. I bet they won't. Yeah, Brian, my boy is coughing a lot. And I say he ended up having to get antibiotics, as it turned into like a bit of a chest infection. Yeah, the theory is, yes, it's all theory. Like I've done it before with brass screws and using copper strips, just circuit board stuff, and it's worked. You always do get a bit when you're lining them up that they don't always, but I do have between here, there's metal dowels to keep the alignment right. There's sunken nuts in M8 bolts, putting them together. And I actually seen something earlier on today where they actually put the sunken bolts on both sides. Which I thought, well, that's clever, because then that stops. Because the other thing that can happen with these things is putting bolts in and out all the time. You're going to wear the wood, and there's going to be a little bit of play. Whereas if you put the sunken bolts in on both sides, then it should stop that happening so much. Be a bit more secure. Oh, you're on Oxmacillan, right? Okay. Oh, Charlie's in the house. Good evening, Charlie. How are you doing? Are you still sunning yourself in Florida, or have you headed back north again? Oh, and by the way, Charlie, thanks for the Christmas cards. I love them. I meant to bring them. They're in the railway. I meant to bring them home to show everybody, but unfortunately, I left them in the railway. I'll actually find somewhere to put them on display. I'll tell you what I'll do is I will just get the other camera out, and I will add that to the stream. And for people who haven't seen the 6x4, I'll give you a roving camera view of it. Now, hopefully this will work and there won't be any nasty feedback from it. Well, last time I tried to use it, it didn't work very well. Mute it. Enter the studio. There's some feedback. That shouldn't be happening. All right, let's see how this goes. If I make that the main screen. And where's my... Right, I'm just... Right, let's go under a close view of the carpet. All right, so this is the 6x4 layout. This is what I started building during lockdown. This is my little project with my daughter at the time. Very first video I ever done was building the baseboard for this. And you can go back and watch those videos. I'm quite embarrassed when I watch them now and I just see how raw I was. But it was originally built as a DC layout. I just put some extra droppers on it earlier on today, converted it to DCC. It's got 2 loops. It's got these long sidings either side. And the idea of this was at some point I may add on to it. You can see we've got an unusual shape of a platform here. That was actually a scrap piece of wood I found. It was more or less that shape. I thought, do you know what? That wouldn't make a bad platform with some island platforms. So that's what inspired that. We got a car park there. A lot of the furniture to go on there, the houses that sit here, they're in a box somewhere to dig them out. I just basically brought it home here, do the wiring, clean it up a little bit. There's a few things got to be fixed, like this. It's got to be glued in place. This one snapped off completely. Do a couple of repairs to the fencing, that sort of thing. So that is this little layout. You can see it's got a little station house there. The light's got to be glued back up into place again. And it's had a bit of a dust, but it needs another dust. So yeah, that's my little 6x4 layout. You can see the rear gardens there, the houses, and the hillside. The hillside was actually done with, the cheap colored sawdust, and it's actually faded. And I think it actually looks better. It looks more like a hillside you'd see around here. Little patches of green on it, more brown, sort of burnt heather sort of look. I actually think it looks more realistic now. And there's a tree that I made. So this layout here sort of encapsulates all the different ideas I had for making stuff, and there's numerous videos on the build of this layout if you want to go and check them out. But this is what the idea of this was, that you start with a train set and this is what you can build up to. So that's the my 6x4, and you can see over there is the winter layout, the Christmas one. That'll be making its way up to the attic at the weekend. And then over here, then we have the current layout I'm working on. If people aren't familiar with this, this is 7 foot by 12 foot, made of 6 4 by 2.5 foot sections, and then these, I think it's 2 foot by 2.5 foot sections here. This is the first level, which is the storage yards, and then it's going to go up the ramp there to the next level, which is going to be the scenic level, which I'm thinking is going to be like a folded figure of 8. So four tracks going around in a figure of 8, so they'll overlap each other, so you'll have them going over each other. Not going to have a major station, just going to have a couple of sort of small country stations that, you know, the local services stop at. So let's take this one off now. Right. Sorry, I wasn't keeping an eye on the chat while I was showing that, so I'm just going to whiz back through the chat, see if there's any questions. My daughter, she's still my daughter, but she's not as interested. Though she does help me a lot with the filming, and she's been at a few shows with me as well, so you probably would have seen her in the background. Got a submarine in my head. Yeah, as I said, the platform was inspired by a piece of wood I found cut like that. And I thought, oh yeah, I can use those shapes. And I had to trim a bit off, and it just gives you a little bit of, for something like a DMU or something to pull into. And by having the station on the end like that, it gives you a bit more room, a bit more scenic. Yeah, basically flying with us, it is like a track map. There's two ovals with some sidings on it, and just make it a bit more interesting. Looks like Brayhead. Just past 7 hours, time for a drink. Well done, Clive. I'm still amazed that people are subscribing to me, and I never thought I would have this many subscribers. Neither do my kids. I think because I've got over 3,000 now, they're a bit more accepting of it. It's a bit more respectable. I might be just calling myself. But yeah, it's amazing that you stick at it. And I love doing these lives with you guys, and being in other people's lives. I mightn't necessarily say a lot when I'm in the lives because I'm usually like this, working in the background. But it's just such a good community. We have a good bit of fun in these lives as well. Oh, Brian's off for his pizza. Take care, Brian. Oh, it's all right for some, Charlie. Lounging in Tampa, was in Fort Myers for a few days, visiting cousins. We'll be here until February, then off to California for 5 to 6 weeks. Okay, Union's off as well. Take care, mate. You got the street cred, love. I wouldn't go that far, Christopher. Yeah, the best hobby in the world with the best people in it. It's always like I really enjoyed when I went to Getz as well, meeting so many other the YouTube group and having a chat, and meeting the Elusive Timbers and Clive and Steve and like everybody else that was there. Christopher was there as well. It was great just meeting up with people and just having a chat. Brian's having a 12-inch meat feast. Andy, this isn't RGA trains. So what big shows are people planning to go to this year? I'm tempted to go to the one that they're organizing in the NEC in April, is it? Like really, I'm only limited to going to maybe one, maybe two at a push a year, because obviously for me traveling over, there's the expense of flights and hotel and what have you. The one at NEC is handy because it's just off the plane. There's hotels around there. And I think from your cheap sort of IBIS ones, which is the ones I stay into, the more opulent ones. Oh. Everything all right? I just had the circle of doom. So what's everyone saying? A big Dublin show. Well, that's not until October. Getz and Worley. Yeah, I was thinking of Glasgow because that's supposed to be a big one to go to. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, Bangor's coming up. Although Bangor is early this year, Tom. They're having it. So normally they have it at the end of the Easter break, but they're having it at the beginning of the Easter break this time, I believe. Of course, there's two in Bangor. There's one in May as well. Get a rowboat, tent, and a sleeping bag. It'd be no problem to me to camp. I do enjoy camping. I'm starting to run out of solder here. Southampton, Alton. Well, you're going to quite a few then, Simon. Heath, Happy New Year, sir. How are you doing? Hope you're keeping well, mate. Which screen do you prefer, guys? Watching the trains or watching me solder? Probably the trains are probably more interesting than watching me gas myself. Limo, it shows me just what, 4 laptops while wearing a kilt, because no doubt someone's supposed to stream your mod on with haggis in your lunchbox. That's not too many stereotypes in there, is it, Dan? If anybody, paint drying, that's my preference. I must admit, I am partial to a bit of haggis. It's one of those things when you hear about it and you think, I'm not, that sounds horrible, but actually it's really nice. It's getting to that stage where I'm at the end of the roll of solder and more chance of me burning my fingers. Which calls me to drop the soldering iron and then burn the carpet. Oh, I better just say hello to Becky and Adam in case they're watching in the front room. I get told off for not saying hello every week. And I was like, well, I didn't know you were watching. And hello to all the lurkers in the background. So maybe anyone who's come across this stream and wondering what the hell's going on. There we go. You've never worn a kilt, Fly? I've actually worn a kilt. The haggis ran away last year. Deep fried haggis and chips and local chippy. Ooh. I lived in Weston-super-Mare. There was a local chip shop there, and they would basically deep fry anything for you. They had a selection of chocolate bars in there. You know, the usual deep fried Mars bar and everything that everyone's had. They would do Snickers, cream eggs, Bounties, Kit Kat as well. Scotch pies. Ooh. You had to have an eyeball staring at a bit of a pork pie. 3D rules one, never ask what's in it, yeah. Oh, I do like Greg's. That's one of those guilty pleasures I have whenever I go over to the UK. As apparently it was the Irish who started wearing kilts first. The Celts, the Irish Celts, and then the Scotch then took it on because we all wore a similar dress. When I say dress, it was like a long, because the kilt sort of doubled up as a blanket for keeping you warm at night. Yeah, so anybody's lurking in the background, you can ask any questions or subscribe if you want to. Hitting the like button is also very much appreciated, guys. And sharing the stream around. Looking at some of these solder joints, I'm like, how well are they going to stand up to abuse? Yeah, 7 yards of material so they could sleep in it. Mrs. Potts Chocolate House chocolate cake. Greatest piece of cake ever. Ooh. I lived in Bristol and I don't even know what you're on about, Anthony. Yeah, say I was hoping to be in Bristol the past few days with a trip over to Lord and Butler in Cardiff. But alas, spent the time here, so I'll probably saved myself a lot of money. I'm just moving everything down to the next joint, so I'll do that one. And let's see. That'll be most of them done then, just. Right, this camera's just going to go offline a second. We'll be back in a second. I just need to put in the extension for it. So you should still be able to hear me. Into stage. And what I'll do is I'll put that one over, so you just have a different view of the station. You can see that in that view there, you've got one of the buffer stops with the lights above it. I actually made that using matchsticks and some surface-mounted LEDs. Again, there's a video on me doing it. It actually worked quite well. And you can see that lone hopper sitting by itself. That seemed to be the one that was causing it to short as it went over the crossover. Since I've taken that out, it hasn't shorted out. So I'll probably just check the back-to-backs on that later on, make sure they're not too close or whatever. I don't think it's I mean, a lot of the times it used to be they would paint up a Class 33 to look like an Irish one, but it wasn't. But I don't think they're the same engine. Hopper in the sin bin, yeah. So I need to do the same thing to the carriage as well. Check the back-to-backs on them. Although they seem to be shorting out anywhere on the layout. But then I built this layout using the old Hornby crossovers and things like that, and the points aren't wired for DCC. They're just relying on the blades. So like I would, and there's no motors because it's a small layout. You can reach over and use the hand of God to change the points. So I wasn't putting in motors into them. Oh, Carl's off. Take care, Carl. Okay, let's move the old chat down here so I can keep half an eye on it. You can see on some of these boards where my cutting hasn't been exact. And there's a bit of a gap, which is probably going to give me some issues. But as this is just the storage yard, I'm not too concerned. Oh, I just hit my phone. I think I just accidentally put someone in timeout. Sorry if I put someone in timeout. My knuckle hit the phone. Okay, Anthony, take care. Where am I soldering? You mean my location? Well, it's my well, what is the front room in the house, but it's been christened my train room, much to her indoors annoyance. There is plenty of ventilation if that's what you're worried about. Yeah, it is where the trains are running. That is here. If I move, I'll just move the camera. So you can see where I'm soldering. I'm going to move that camera up. So here is the layout I'm working on, and over there is the layout that trains are running on. You can see that. So it is a fairly big room, this. Yes, Simon, it's called the train room. Taking over more real estate. Well, it was kind of part of the deal to move into this house after we just moved. Because remember, I was building my dream layout. I'd done all that work in the attic, and I converted it and made a nice space, and it was going to be 40 foot by 14 foot. It all planned out, and then this house came up. So part of the negotiations were that I would have this room as a train room, front room, and kind of, I suppose the trains have sort of taken over. Oh, why was that just bubbling? Ow! Oh, that had to happen sooner or later. Oh, that's smarts. No, it's okay. Heck. That's going to leave a blister. Hold the blue end. Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah, I don't think I swore, though. I think I managed to retain myself. I knew that would happen as the solder ran out. Yeah, don't do this at home, kids. No, I knocked against the solder and I didn't try and grab it with my hands. I was part of the reason because the tripod is here. I was trying to reach around the tripod and I hit the soldering iron. That's what happened. Oh, it's Joshua off. Take care, Joshua. I thought you knew not to use the solder down to the last centimeter. Well, I think after all this, I deserve a Bailey's. Pretty medicinal, yeah. Right, I'm just going to move the camera slightly so I can get around the back, so to speak. But every time I'm doing soldering during a live stream, without fail, I do burn myself. And working in the troom. Is this what we're christening the room now? The troom. Always have a glass of drinking and dipping burnt fingers in. So I must say a big thank you to my channel members for their support. I almost have enough money saved now to get 2 Gauge Master controllers for the museum. All right, Charlie, don't rub it in. Yeah, let's go where the sun's out. What's the temperature there, Charlie? Oh, it's only 17. Oh, sorry about that, Charlie. Sorry, it's only 17 degrees. I must have had to like put a light jumper on. Johan, good evening. How you doing? Right. That's enough fumes for tonight. That's all the soldering I'm going to do. Right, that gives that a clean off. That leaves just one more section to do that I need to finish off tomorrow. And then hopefully next week's I will have the connections here and I can start wiring up the boards. So I'm just cleaning off the excess flux so it doesn't go green and nasty. Yeah, so to secure the sleepers in place now, I'm going to drill a hole, put a pin in, surround it with glue, let it dry. Hopefully that'll hold everything in place. Well, I'm going to cut it with, I've got a Dremel, but I've got a Dremel on the end of a flexible lead, which means you can actually get down. Whereas with the, obviously with the standard sort of Dremel, you can't get down, you end up with an angled cut. But with this, you can get down closer to the track, so it gives you a straighter cut. Yeah, there was a lot of sales. TMC had one, someone else had one. I had a look through. There was stuff I wanted to buy, but stuff I didn't really need, and it would just add to my different odd amounts of. I'm just going to move this camera again. Hopefully, it won't disconnect. I'll put it over here, overlooking the layout. Oops, and then it falls over. Yeah, I keep getting loads of an email from TMC. I'm obviously registered with them with 2 addresses because I got double the amount. Gary, Leicester Station and TMD, how you doing, sir? If anybody wants to look at Hornby, click on Dan's link there. It's an affiliate link, so if you buy anything, he gets a little bit. Doesn't cost you any extra. I do use affiliate links in some of my videos, and I think it's made me about £6. And that wasn't actually for what was in the link, because if you use the link to buy something on Amazon and you don't buy anything, but you buy something else because your link took them to the Amazon website, you get a cut, because it was coffee pods, I think somebody bought, and I got a commission on it. Got an invoice for a pre-order I made 2 years ago. I'd long since forgotten about. NEM pockets, that reminds me. I'm sure there is somebody out there somewhere who prints them off so you can stick them onto bogies or locos or whatever to use. Because I got a pack off those magnetic couplers, which I put on to the Class 121 and the lead wagon off the hopper there. Let's change the main view over to the overview. So you can see in the center there will be normally 2 rows of houses there, which are in a box somewhere, and I haven't come across them yet. I suppose for the last few minutes, I could plug in the Christmas layout, seeing we are coming up to the end of the season. Officially it ends on Saturday. So we'll put that on, let that run for a little while. The last bit of running it'll have. Oh. Christmas decoration has fallen onto the track, blocking it. Okay. Yeah, so I have a couple of repairs to make to the 6x4. A couple of the lights got snapped, they have to be fixed. Going to put a few bit more platform decorations on. I got some benches and litter boxes or litter bins, that sort of thing to put on there. Got a couple of the telegraph poles to fix. They were snaps and they glued back together, and some of this signage has come off, needs to go back on, so I'll be doing that over the next few evenings. So I ordered connections to go between the baseboards. So I also went on to Jeff Hammond's 3D prints. He's doing a 24% sell off. He does a little thing, a little jig for putting on seep point motors. So I've ordered one of them just to see how it works, see if it does the job. So I'll let you guys know. When's the last time you came in, Gary? Because I was doing a big layout beginning this time last year in the house I was living in at the time. Moved house since then. I've moved house twice in 7 months. And now I'm in this room, and the layout I'm building now is 7 foot by 12 foot. Yeah. 20 service has been cancelled due to a Christmas decoration blocking the line. Well, those trains have ran now for over an hour. It was 9 o'clock now, so they were actually started running first till almost 2 hours, and haven't shorted out or stopped once. So at the moment in this room, you've got my 6x4 layout, you've got my end-to-end Christmas layout, and the layout I'm currently building, which is 12 foot by 7. And of course, I'm still working on the layouts in the museum as well. So I got plenty to keep me busy. Still have to get around to building the garden layout in the museum, but I had that penciled in to do over the summer last year. And everyone knows, well, the summer we had in Donegal last year was particularly wet. You couldn't get outside to do anything all summer, so that got canned. Okay, Leslie, no problem. Yeah, that's what I had for my lunch today, a couple of bacon butties. Do like a nice bacon butty, a little bit of cheese on top while you're frying it, just so it melts in, and then put it in 2 slices of bread. Oh, lovely. When am I going to build the N-scale layout? Well, I'm kind of doing N-scale. I'll be doing a 009 one, because I've got a little model of Railcar 1 coming, and that's 009. So that's 9mm track, N-scale track, but 00 size. So I'm going to incorporate that into this layout I'm building. I'm going to have a loop with that. So I'm hoping to get, I'll probably do a little video on it when it comes, so you can see the guy who's designed it and where we get it from. He does a couple of the rail cars. I think they have Kato chassis in them, I think. So I'm doing 00, be doing a 009, G gauge in the museum. There's also 7¼ inch ride-on that I work on as well in there. I think that's all I do for now. And whenever we get a bit of track down, to be 3 foot narrow gauge. Bacon, egg, and mushroom bat, red sauce. See, now I'm not one for red sauce, but bacon, egg, and mushroom. Yeah, that sounds nice. And I'm like that. I like the egg well done. I don't like a soft yolk. Yeah, so that's all the layouts I'm working on, you know. So I've got plenty to keep me busy. Yeah, having the cheese and the bacon, you gotta get the right amount. Too much cheese, no. You just need a little sliver of cheese, because bacon, when it's in the frying pan, when it's done, it's crispy. A little bit of cheese, just let it melt, put it in the sandwich, where you go. You and Holly Wardle Restoration. Okay, Amberley Model Railway, take care, mate. Yeah, well, to be fair, I was doing the restorations in the Railway Museum before Ollie was doing his. There's no competition between Ollie. Like, he's got a working loco. I haven't got that far yet. I've just got a steam engine that needs somewhere to run, and once it does, we'll put the boiler in it. Restoration work on a couple of narrow gauge trailers and wagons. Real world, why is the loco attached to the train with a threaded bar and not a chain? Well, the threaded bar is kind of a chain, isn't it? It's usually got links at either end of the threaded bar. To be fair, the narrow gauge wagons on the Donegal had like a central buffer with like a hook in it, almost like a drop link coupling that you have on models. and had 2 chains. Okay, Jerry, take care. Yeah, I'm going to toddle off now because we're up to 9 o'clock now. And the missus only got back about an hour before I started the stream, so I need to go and sit with her and catch up. So I'll call the stream in a few minutes, so give everyone a chance to say their goodbyes and what have you. Back again next Thursday. No video out tomorrow. Hopefully things will be back to normal. Should have a video out next Friday, and then every Friday after that, touch wood. Okay, Brian, good night. Hope you get well soon. If I'm heading over to Letterkenny anytime soon, I'll give you a shout and I can drop those things out to you. So this weekend will be spent taking down all the Christmas decorations, putting the winter layout away, and then hopefully stuff I've ordered I probably won't get until middle of next week, because it's of course being delivered to the northern address and I won't be able to pick it up until next week. So I'm hoping maybe next Thursday I'll have some of these boards up and we can do some of the wiring underneath. So I'm going to call it a day there, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Been good fun as always. Hope you enjoyed seeing stuff on the old 6x4 layout. I thought I'd get that in, have trains running around, because I do miss having trains running when I'm working on a layout. So that's going to be in here for a few weeks anyway, until I get the bigger layout up and running. So take care, everyone. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you have a great one. And I'll see you all next Thursday or in other streams. So take care, everyone. Bye, everyone.